All right, so you do need to memorize these metric conversions because it's just what's the conversion between each of these steps?
So to go up, you divide. To go up, you divide. To go up, you multiply it, and to go down, you divide it, right?
The other way. Yeah, and then to go down, you multiply. And how much do you multiply? What are each of these steps? By 10 each time, right? So 10 each step. Okay, so the usual one that we know is meters. And let's say we want to go to from 1 meter to centimeter. Okay, I'm going from the bigger unit to the smaller unit. That's why I'm multiplying. What am I multiplying? Yeah. From meter to centimeter, 100, right? Because 2 steps, so 10, 100. What about like this example, from 2 meters to millimeter? So meters to millimeter, am I multiplying or dividing? Yeah. I want to go from meter to millimeter. Multiplying by how much? 10, 100, by 10, 100, 1,000. So 1,000. So you multiply it by 1,000. So 2 times 1,000 would give you 2,000 millimeter. Okay. Similarly, if we want to go from meters to kilometers, we're going up the steps. So we're going to divide by 1,000. Okay. So that's metric. But these ones right here, notice metric to imperial are much more complicated with these numbers right here. Do you think it will be cruel to have you guys memorize these numbers? Super cruel. Okay, so it will be given. All right, you don't have to memorize these conversions. It's impossible. All right, I just want to add one more in here. 1 cup is 8 ounces. Okay, just adding one more in. Okay. So how do we do this? If we go from metric to imperial, we multiply. And if we want to go from imperial to metric, we simply divide by that number. So for example, if I want to know 3 kilometers to mile, I'm going from metric to imperial, I multiply it by 0.6214, and I get the answer in miles. Okay, so make sure you write this down on your chart. So going from metric to imperial, you multiply. Going from imperial to metric, you divide. Okay, so where might we see? So we said about driving. We said about driving, the speed. That's one important one where we have to make the conversion. What's another thing in real life where you'll see metric units and imperial units? Height, yeah, sure. Yeah, some country they use height and also weight. Yeah, so somebody might say they are 20 kilograms, and somebody might say they are 50 pounds. Okay, Charles, what else?
Mathematical calculation.
Right, but where would you see physics? Okay, sure. All right. In everyday life, something that you see in the kitchen. Yeah, Seth?
If you're trying to bake something,
yeah, the recipe. Okay, some recipe calls for like 4 cups of water, or some recipes say they want um, um, uh, 50 ounce of milk or something like that. So you have to know the unit that they're using, otherwise your muffin is gonna taste like rocks.
Just Fahrenheit and like.
Yeah, that's good. Temperature as well. Excellent. Okay, Fahrenheit and Celsius. That's another conversion. Okay. And that's because in Canada we use Celsius, and in America they like to use everything differently. They use Fahrenheit. All right. On page 3 and 4, again, there's nothing that you need to use on here. This is with the perimeter, area, surface area, and volume. This is actually a sheet that you'll see exactly from on EQAO. So when you do EQAO or final exam, we use the exact sheet. All right. This also will be given. Okay. So you don't have to memorize any of these formula. Phew. Okay. It will be given. Okay, but make sure you use it and copy it correctly. Okay, so page 5. So who remembers the steps already? What was that acronym again?
So,
Yeah.
kind.
Yep.
Ducks.
Kind. Not just ducks.
Hungry ducks.
Right, the hungry ducks.
Don't chew much.
Right, good. Okay, but I have 2 D's right here. What is this D? Nicola? Think again. Deca, right, this is Deca. And what's the abbreviation for Deca? D. DA. Okay. And then what about this one then? Deci. And what's the abbreviation? Sorry? Not the I, just D actually. Okay. So why I'm focusing on these 2 is because people do mix them up. So like for example, if I say change 1 centimeters to decameter, then you need to know it's this one and not this one. Okay. So be very careful with those 2 D's. Okay. And then the rest are pretty straightforward. Kilo, hecto, centi, milli. Okay. Let's do a quick example here. 1,000 milligram to gram. So I want to go from here to here. What am I going to do? Charles.
Divide.
I divide, right? Divide by how much?
10.
Think again. Each step is 10. 10, 100, 1,000. Yeah, so I divide it by 1,000. 1,000 divided by 1,000? 1, yeah. So 1,000 milligram is equal to 1 gram. Okay. What about from liter to milliliter? So from here to here. Times a 1,000, right? Okay, so 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliter. Okay. Can you guys take 2 minutes? Try these ones. 2 minutes. Okay, first one. Elisa, what did you get?
1,600 millimeters.
Good. 1,600 milliliters. What did you do?
Times by 10.
Times it by 10, because you're just going from centimeters to millimeter. So going from the bigger unit to the smaller unit, so you're timesing. And since it's just one step, you times it by 10. Sydney.
Yes. Multiply by 1,000.
Multiply by 1,000. That's right. Going from K to the usual unit. Okay, so you would times it by 1,000 and you get 14,000 meters. Good. Sam, what did you get for this one?
For this one, it's times by.
I'm going from gram to kilogram.
Yeah, it's the usual, right?
Yeah. Am I timesing or dividing? Divide. Divide by 1,000. So what's your answer? 0.1. Yeah. Okay. So don't leave out that 0.009 kilogram, because 0.009 kilogram is actually a lot. Okay, because it's in kilogram. What about this one? Meter to kilometer. Yeah, 0.25. Good. And you divide it by 1,000. Okay. This inequality. Sydney, what did you get for this one?
I got 56 centimeters is less than 6 meters.
Right. This one is pretty obvious. Okay. Centimeter, meter is much bigger. So you don't even need to do the conversion. But then this one, you might want to do the conversion. Okay. No, too obvious. Okay. If you did the conversion, Liana, what did you get? Sorry? Okay. Which did you convert? Did you convert this both to grams or both to milligrams? Grams. Okay. So what is this in grams? Okay. 0.698 grams. Remember, you going from milli to the usual one, you are dividing by 1,000. So when you do that, yeah, much bigger. Okay. Good. So now these ones right here, these ones, you're not really looking at that conversion chart. You're thinking logically. Okay. And I do want to make sure we go over these ones because a lot of time you're so focused on, okay, the steps and the conversion rates, and then you forget about like just thinking logically. So you want to change 26 inch to feet and inches. How many inches in a foot? 12, right? And I even gave you it right here. So if you do 26 minus 12, that's 1 foot. That's another foot. You're left with 2. So what's your answer? 26 inches is how many feet? Yeah, 2 feet and 2. Right? Because this is 1 foot, this is 2 foot, and then you have 2 inches left. So 2 feet, 2 inches. All right. But what about this one? I want to write 5 pounds and 6 ounces, all in ounces. Okay, 1 pound is 16 ounces. So what do I do with this 5 pounds right here? Yeah. Yeah, times it by 16. Yeah. So right. Okay. 5. Each pound is 16 ounces. So in total, that's 80 ounces. Add on that 6. So in total, 86 ounces. Okay, 30 months. Write that in years. How many months in a year?
4.
Thank you. 12 months in a year equal 1 year. Okay, so 30 minus 12 minus 12. How many months is left? 6. Right, so what's that? And 6 months. Or you can even say 2.5 years. Okay. Minute and seconds. What's the conversion there? Charles? No, but what's the conversion rate? What's the relation between minutes and seconds? Right, 60 seconds in a minute. Okay, so this time 1 times 60 plus 20. So in total, that's 80 seconds. Okay, so nice and easy questions just to get you guys thinking again. This one, how about how many minutes is in a week? Okay, yeah. Well, I'm thinking it's a lot more. Okay, what did you get? Okay, so both of you said about 10,080. Let's hear it. What did you do? Okay, Google is not in my class. What okay, so yeah, Daniel.
So you know that like 60 minutes are in 1 hour?
Good.
60, right? And then you multiply that by 24 to make 24 hours in a day.
1 hour, and then times 24 hours in a day.
And then that's 1,440.
Okay.
And then you multiply that by 7, and then you get 10,080.
Right. Per week. And so if you do 60 minutes per hour times 24 hours a day times 7 days a week, you'll get the 10,080. 10,080 minutes per week. Okay. So Sam, if you said there was only like a couple hundred minutes in a week, we would age very quickly. Yes. Okay. So notice this one. We use what we know to get to what we don't know. So multi-step, and that's perfectly how you do math. What about this one? He needs 10 cups of fruit juice to make sangria. How many pots does he need to buy at the grocery store? Yep. What did you do?
I did 4 times 8 is 8, and 10 times 5.
Okay, yeah. So this one, you're simply just doing 10 divided by 4. Yep. Hi. No, I get a lot of visitors. Okay. So I just want to do one imperial example on the back page, and then that's it for today's lesson. Okay, so for this one, I just want to go from liters to gallon. Okay, 2 liters is how many gallon? Okay, if you 1 second, sorry, my last example. So if you look at this conversion right here, our conversion page. Hey, what's the relation between liters and gallon? Okay, remember this is given, so you want to use it. Don't make up your own numbers. Liters and gallon, what's the conversion? Liana? Right, this right here. I want to go from metric to imperial. So am I multiplying or dividing? Multiply, because I want to go from metric to imperial. So I'm simply multiplying 0.2642. And when I do that, I get 0.1321. Okay, and that's it. So it's when you're given this, it's actually pretty easy to do. You just have to know when to multiply and when to divide. Okay, so for the rest of the class, you're just working on page 7 and 8. Not a lot at all. All right, you should be able to finish before the end of the period if you use class time wisely.